Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. We're going to talk about a hypothetical with the new forms updates. Okay, here's the hypo. You've got a listing agent who's holding an open house, and they are someone in their team, on their team. So an agent from the listing brokerage says, hey, I'll come sit the open house for a few hours. And they're probably hoping to pick up a potential buyer that comes through the door, but they're agreeing to just man the open house, and they'll show anybody who comes through, right? A buyer with an agent, a buyer who doesn't want an agent, whatever. They'll show anybody who comes through the property as part of their duties with the open house. The question has come up, if this agent is sitting at the open house and a buyer comes in and the agent asks, are you being represented? And the buyer says, no, I'm not. And this agent agrees to show this buyer the property. Through the property, I guess. Does that agent need something in writing because they're now going to tour the property with a buyer? And I believe the answer is no. Why? Because at that point, the agent is not working for the buyer. I think the term in the settlement is like working with a buyer, engaged with a buyer, something like that. And they're not, at that point, they're still representing the seller, right? They're showing this potential buyer through as an agent of the seller. Remember, the seller has an agreement with the listing brokerage. This agent works for the listing brokerage. And so they are working on behalf of the listing brokerage on behalf of the seller. And so, again, if this person came through and had an agent, they'd still show that person through the property, not pretending to represent them, not even claiming to represent them. Just, on behalf of the seller, I'm going to show you the property. But once it moves into, hey, you want to put in an offer? Well, I could help you as a limited agent. I could help you get through this deal and put in this offer. Well, okay. Once you start moving into, now you're trying to work with that buyer, then you need to get something in writing. Right? You need to get that agency agreement signed, obviously, limited agency disclosure, that kind of stuff in that scenario. But even if the buyer said, I'm not really interested in this property, but, and you say, well, and the agent says, well, there's a couple others in this neighborhood that are similar to this one. They're not our listing, but I could still show them to you if you want. Again, going beyond working for the seller now and wanting to now work with that buyer directly. Okay, before you go start touring other properties with that buyer, you got to get your stuff in writing, right? So, but sitting in an open house with buyers coming in, you're not representing those buyers, you're not working with those buyers. At that point, you're still representing the listing agent. So until you move into that area, that space of, I want to work with you, buyer, on your behalf, then you're still working for the seller, and you don't need to get anything in writing prior to showing that buyer the property. Hopefully that's helpful. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.